height science for you. The average man is 5.1 inches taller than the average woman due to later onset of puberty, which allows men's bones to grow for a little bit longer. But what of the man who does not grow so tall? Short guys, this video's for you. A little while back I did a video comparing what life is like according to study findings for short men versus tall women. Unsurprisingly to all of the short guys who watched the video and commented, the tall women came out on top. Since then I've also heard more in-depth from short guys who describe this particular kind of stigma they deal with that's not talked about all that often. I recently received an email from a guy named James who describes how he's been dealing with a height stigma since he was a kid. He writes, "As for my shortness, there have been honest-to-God weeks in my life when I've been shamed nearly every day by both men and women for being short. In my childhood, these times would drive me to tears and to search the internet for mad scientist-esque ways of becoming taller, but these days I just want acceptance. I think this is a gender issue about social conceptions of masculinity that might get more attention in the future, but is still mostly unrecognized today." I tell you what folks, if you want a surefire way to get me to do a video, simply pitch the topic in the terms of being a gender issue of socialized conceptions of masculinity or femininity often not talked about, and I will immediately want to talk about it. And unfortunately, pretty much any study that you find looking at people's perceptions of men based on their height confirms James's experience. Studies repeatedly find that compared to tall men, people tend to perceive shorter guys as being angrier, more prone to jealousy, and constantly overcompensating for their lack of height, judging them based not on how they act, but simply how they look. Studies on how height interact with our employment also consistently find a short guy stigma at work, both literally and figuratively. Economists estimate that for men in particular, an inch of height is worth $789 extra per year in your salary. Particularly for guys, the taller you are, the more money you're gonna make. As I'm sure a lot of shorter guys watching this video can attest to, height definitely influences your dating life. One recent study out of Rice University looked at Yahoo personal ads and found that, hey, straight ladies, we are exercising the short man stigma all the time. 48.9% of us said that we would not, I repeat, not date a shorter guy. If you just look at OkCupid data, the taller a guy is, the more unsolicited messages he receives. For some reason, we have this idea in our head that taller when you're a guy is better, even though, as Michigan State University psychology professor Linda A. Jackson told National Geographic recently, there is zero data to back that up. She explained, taller men are perceived as more socially attractive in that we think that they're stronger, more successful, better qualified to be our leaders, perhaps because we sometimes literally look up to them. There is no scientific evidence whatsoever that it is height per se that is the causational factor that precludes men for being better at being leaders or being more successful or making more money. The only thing it really precludes these men for is buying longer pants and maybe playing basketball. There's also an evolutionary theory behind this that taller has always been better. Way back during our more nomadic hunter-gatherer days, taller men were likelier to capture prey and avoid predators, thus amplifying their reproductive success. Fast forward to today in our not-so-nomadic hunter-gatherer lifestyles, the fact that a short man stigma is still so prevalent in our society is not okay. And I do think that James is right on the money when he says that this is a gender issue about our social conceptions of masculinity. In the same way that I do strive to promote a positive body image among girls and women in particular of all shapes and sizes, I want to do the same thing for men too. James's experience of growing up searching the internet for mad scientist kinds of ways to make himself taller shouldn't be the experience that short guys have to grow up with and live with through adulthood. But shorter guys, now it's your turn to talk. I want to hear from you in the comments below. Share your experience and what we can do as taller folk to make life better for you.